Okay, everyone, I think we are ready to get started. Welcome to our November A2NewTech. I'm Zach Steiner, your host for the evening. I work at an area company called Olarg. We help companies better understand their customers using live chat for sales support and customer discovery. Who here has never been to A2NewTech before? I see a lot of familiar faces. It's urgent. Yeah. So our format is pretty simple. We have 5 entrepreneurs pitch their company for 5 minutes. Then we have a 5-minute Q&A where the audience can ask questions to learn about the speaker's experience, perhaps to share your experience in the field. And then in between, we have community announcements. And so during the presentation, please keep questions that you might have in mind for the speaker. And then also, if you have a job opportunity or an upcoming career fair or any other sort of thing that would be of interest to the entrepreneurial community, have those announcements as ready as well between the presentations. Well, I don't want to delay anymore, so yeah, please take it away.
Thanks, Zach. Good evening, everyone. My name is Faisal. I'm CEO of Movellus Circuits. And I'm here to tell you about super awesome technology that we developed at the University of Michigan. So let's start by looking around this room. We're surrounded by electronics. We've got our smartphones in our pockets, we've got our laptops, we've got this laptop, we've got a projector, and I was supposed to have a pointer, but I don't. So what do all those have in common? They're all based on systems that have microprocessors in them. Now, did you know that microprocessors have become ubiquitous as a result of unprecedented advances in design and manufacturing technology for microprocessors? However, there's a crucial component that goes in every microprocessor-based system that has not kept up with the times, and that is the clock generator. And that's what we modernize. So we bring that technology to the modern day, 21st century, we digitize it. So it used to be analog. And what does analog mean? Think back to your analog tube TVs. They used to be big and bulky. But compare that to today's digital, flat screen TVs that we have in our pockets. So that's the kind of difference this makes. Now, what is a clock generator, you might ask? The clock generator is the heartbeat of every electronic system, every microprocessor-based system. It keeps track of time on electronics, very similar to the way clock on the wall helps us keep track of our daily activities. It's crucial for every single electronic system that you can possibly imagine. So we all own hundreds of these, and if we can make even a fraction of a difference to them, it'll have a huge impact across the electronics industry around the world. Oops, sorry, what's going on here? Yeah. Okay. So what's the problem? All right. So what's the problem with these clock generators? So the problem is they're developed using technology that is over 40 years old. So as a result of that, oh my God, sorry. Let me fix this.
I talked to clock generator.
I know. Sorry about this. All right, so what's the problem with these things? The problem is they're designed using technology that's over 40 years old. So as there's
Talk faster.
Okay, this is.
If possible, you might want to just throw up your slides, not in preview, or just just a slide with the slide.
That'll be bad.
Or you can skip the slides and just tell us what you do.
All right, sounds good. I can do that. All right, sorry about this. Really?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so let's go back to the problem. So the problem is they're old, they're big and bulky, they consume lots of power. That means our batteries die quickly. Our electronics are still big and bulky, and we can't apply them everywhere we want to apply them. So as a result of our technology, we can design these things really quickly. So that's really important because electronics have to be designed quicker and quicker. So for example, the product cycle for smartphones, it's shrinking. It's at a year, and it used to be 3 years only a few years ago. So we need to be designing electronics quickly. So we can make the design efficient, and we utilize the design tools that were developed over decades to make the size of these chips smaller. And not only that, we can optimize these things using the server farms. Server farms don't get tired. When you design these things using humans, they get tired. So as a result of that, our solution is orders of magnitude better compared to the existing solutions. So to give you an idea how we make money and how we fit in this semiconductor electronics market, so all the way to the left, we have design software providers. So these are companies that provide CAD tools. To give you an analogy, there's companies that provide CAD tools to architects, and then architects use those tools to generate blueprints, and then those blueprints go to the builders. So we are the architects of the chips. We take design tools, we use the design tools to build our chips. We use our IP, our innovative architectures, and our approach to design these things, and then we license it out to either the builders of the chip manufacturers, or the bigger companies that aggregate IP and build bigger system on chips. And then finally, these chips end up in our electronics. So it's a proven business model. There are a few ways of generating revenue in this. First is licensing. And we can build a profitable business through just licensing. But the real upside potential of this business is the royalties that we could be charging. To give you an idea of how big that potential could be, in 2012, 650 billion chips were sold worldwide. So this could be huge. And then just to make sure that everybody understands, we do not need any of the manufacturing facilities. We're just licensing, designing and licensing. So we're going after this model because it's capital efficient. All right, so who's going to do this? So this technology was developed in my PhD at the University of Michigan. I'm initially leading it. It's a highly technical B2B business, and everything is just more efficient if I lead it initially. And then once we have proven the product and we have a few customers, then I will step aside and we'll bring on an experienced CEO. And we have a business development guy who's got over 30 years of experience in this exact space. He's been generating lots of sales leads for us and helping us identify the market. And then we also have a designer. So overall, we have almost 20 years of chip design experience in our team and 30 years of sales experience. So we wouldn't be doing this alone. We've got blessings from lots of really qualified people. So let me begin by Dr. McCorkadale. He started a company out of...
I think we're out of time, unfortunately. Okay. Thank you so much. As advertised, now is now is the Q&A portion. I suspect there might be some questions, especially because we have to cut the presentation a little short.
All right.
Can you summarize how a digital timer works?
The digital timer, are you talking about in electronics?
Yes.
Okay, so what it does is it generates a stable signal. So like when you go and buy a laptop and look at the specs for a processor, it says 1 gigahertz, 2 gigahertz, 3.4 gigahertz. So that's the frequency that's generated using this timer or the clock generator. And how it works, it takes a reference from something called a crystal and then generates many different frequencies depending on what the electronics require. Yep.
Two questions. One, can you tell me a bit more about what your IP is? Is it software? Is it process? And second question is have you delivered any product at this time?
So our IP is, we have filed 2 patents protecting the architecture of these things because this is an innovative way of reducing the power, simplifying it, and implementing these things really efficiently, and also the approach to do that. So there are 2 patents covering that. They've been filed.
Is it architecture or hardware patent?
Yeah, architecture of hardware, yeah. Yeah, so it's essentially like a design blueprint for hardware to solve a few of the issues that arise as a result of using this approach. So, so what was your second question?
Have you delivered any product?
No, we do not. We do not have customers yet. However, this technology is a result of like 4, 5 different prototypes that were developed over my PhD as well as another student's PhD. So we have proven the technology. It's been tested, and right now we're actually working with a few leads, and we should close our first sale very soon.
Oh, I guess I had a question if no one else.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I know that doing hardware is not like doing a Ruby on Rails app. There tends to be a longer lead time. The design has to get incorporated, and then the design, once finalized, has to be actually fabricated.
Yeah.
So what I know you're early in the cycle, but what does that cycle look like? If someone was to purchase your IP or design tomorrow, how long would it be before we'd actually see a Movellus?
So typically a sales cycle, like starts with upfront negotiations and figuring out what the specifications are. So that could take up to anywhere between a month to 2 months because this is a B2B business, so they move slow. These are big ticket items. But after the sale has been finalized, then we sign the licensing agreement, and then it's anywhere between 2 to 6 months, depending on the complexity of the design. And then after that, like once we've delivered the design, that's when we collect, the rest of the licensing, half of the licensing fees delivered, or we receive at the beginning. Now, once that design has been delivered, there is about 2 years period before the chip actually can go into mass production. And after the mass production, that's when royalties start. So we collect licensing fee up front, and then royalties stream in later. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have you gotten any indication on what your reliability and manufacturing fallout rate's going to be?
So that's actually one of the things that we have to address to develop our. So the next step.
That's part of your $1 million?
Yes. So the next step is to develop a reference design that can address all those issues.
But you haven't even fabricated?
No, we have fabricated. Like I said, we have 4 fabricated prototypes. So we have, but
I meant the real chip.
yes,
Fabricated is not.
No, we have hardware. We have hardware, which I did not bring with me today, but we have hardware, which we put on PCBs to test and test it in the lab. Unfortunately, in the university environment, we cannot fabricate millions of units, and that's how.
Yeah. You can determine the rate.
Yeah, we cannot determine long-term yields, but we can determine that this technology works, and we can test like 5 or 10 chips that we get.
Just like at IKEA, it's different having one chair and then making 1,000 chairs.
Exactly. Yeah. So we've made the one chair, but now we need to scale it.
I think there's a question in the front row.
Oh, yeah. The examples that you compared yours to were, you said 40 plus years old. Is there anything newer than that example that's sort of competing in your same market?
So there are 2 components to these clock designs. So first is the design, just coming up with the architecture and the idea. So some people have attempted to optimize that. So they come closest to us in terms of competition, whereas we have streamlined the whole process. So there's a design process and there's the actual layout process where we draw these circuits and implement it. So it's kind of like piling bricks. So that process as well. It used to be custom. There are companies out there who've optimized one component of that, but not the whole thing, and that's what we do. So those are the guys that come closest to us.
Start sounding Apple, man.
Any other questions? Yeah.
What is the biggest negative you're getting?
The biggest negative is the resistance from industry. It's a really conservative.
What sort of resistance?
Resistance, well, I don't have 30 years of track record developing hardware. I just got out of university. So typically companies don't take risk on, or they tend not to take a risk on small startups like us. So we have to, figure out our strategy. Our strategy is going to be, work directly with some of the smaller guys and prove out our technology, and then quickly scale out through our various sales channels that we have.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Okay. While our next presenter is getting set up, I wanted to briefly thank our sponsors. We have 3 of them. The University of Michigan Law School Entrepreneurship Clinic has been very kind in helping us have this facility. I think we're almost coming up on 2 years that we've been in this room, and it's a lot better than being out on the street, especially on a cold night like tonight. Also, A2Vive is our pro video recording. All A2NewTech meetings are both live streamed, and then the recordings are posted online. And after the event, Roger will post a link to where you can find that recording. And last but not least, A2 Geeks. A2 Geeks is sort of a meta organization in Ann Arbor. They provide a lot of organizational support to other meetups. So if you have a meetup that's looking for space or want help promoting your events, they've helped with A2NewTech, Ignite Ann Arbor, Geek Tours, and a variety of other events here in Ann Arbor. Okay, and then I will now yield the stage to Dave.
Thank you, Zach. Hello, everyone. I'm Dave Patta, and my app is called Cartwright. It's a simple app for anonymous group notifications. It's currently up in Google Play. Hopefully I'll get it up in the App Store. iOS provisioning is hard, kind of. But hopefully within a week or two I'll have it up in there for iOS users and then work on the Windows phone version. Why did I create this app? Well, basically I created it got the idea for it last spring when I got hollered at by a 6-year-old little girl after missing softball practice. So it turns out the coach had sent an email and said practice was an hour earlier because of weather. So we got to practice a little bit late and it was over. So I just thought it would be better if the coach hollered at me and I got to practice earlier instead of my little girl hollering at me. So he had sent an email. I missed it. I'm not driving around checking emails. And I noticed this is happening more often where important emails get lost and things like that. So I thought there would be a better way to be notified about what matters most. At the same time, last spring, Yo came out, and I noticed a trend where notification apps are becoming more mainstream. There's an article, a post last month in by TechCrunch about this trend, and they mentioned a couple apps, Drop and Push are two they mentioned. Those are basically services that users can put the app on their phone and follow things like whatever. They have a finite list of categories, and you can get notified about those. And I think these apps pull from a service or major websites like the Reddit homepage or CNN Drudge Report and notify the users. So pop-up notification works. But my app is not. It's like that. Only it's anyone can create a tag for anyone else to follow. So these other apps, you might be able to send them a message to say, "Put me in your service," but with Cartwright, anybody can do it. Thank Microsoft BizSpark for accepting my startup. Makes it way easy for you to do your startups. I don't have time to talk about it right now, but stop by. And I like to talk about this. So who will use it? Hopefully teachers and the softball coach. I was thinking, I don't know, I can think of a lot of potential use cases, but maybe retailers where people, they ask you for your email, and I know I don't give mine out, but you might want to be notified about sales and stuff like that. They could create a tag and send stuff to it. Users can anonymously subscribe or unsubscribe. Ad hoc groups, any neighborhood. So just a quick screen cap demo. It's this is a very simple app. It just runs in the background. You don't see it. You do have to create an account. Well, you are anonymous in terms of the app world. Only the server uses your identity to keep track of tags that you own and subscribe to. Once you do that, you're logged in. I have login set for 10 years. You don't have to do anything after that. So say you want to create a tag. It can be a real meaningful word. If you want a secret tag to send, share secretly with someone and notify them, it can be some random secret stuff you only share with them. But if you do want to share it, you share it with anyone, and then you just send, it's like a text message, send something to your neighborhood. There's a yard sale this weekend or whatever. Whoever wants to get notified, they type in the word. The only thing is there are no spaces allowed in these tags. That's pretty much it. This is my phone. I get the little icon just like a text or any other notification would happen. It comes to you, and that's it. Next steps, got to get the iOS version out, grow my user base. looking for partners and doing this alone at nighttime after kids go to bed. It's not my day job, and maybe add some features.
Cool, thank you. Questions for Dave about Hollerit?
How many downloads do you have?
It's only been a couple weeks. I have teachers that want to use it and some coaches. That's the only people I've pinged so far, and they want to use it. They have iPhones, so I have to get that version out. I don't have many yet. I haven't had time to promote it.
What's your business model?
I have no business model. I know people who said they will use it. Right now, my focus, my time is maxed out. I got to get the iOS version out. Just try to grow it organically, and after that, just get as many users as possible.
What's your price right now?
It's free. There's the Microsoft BizSpark, Windows Azure Cloud Platform. I pay nothing except my time.
What kind of feedback have you received from the users you do have?
The users are happy. I don't have too many of them.
I think you can make money on this.
The way I can think of to make money is get millions of users. I mean, that's the only way. One way, and I think it's possible. The retailer thing, and my reason for doing it was selfish. I wanted to be notified. So I didn't really think about that. But one thing I can think of is the retailers. If I got them involved, I could possibly charge them for some analytics.
I have a question. So, at a company that thinks a lot about customer service, we think a lot about sort of the spectrum of communication, and you're in this really interesting position where the messages aren't necessarily private, but they are sort of like categorized by theme. Maybe like a close analog would be subreddits. And so, has anyone expressed concern? I don't know. Like I would be hesitant to use this for my business maybe if I had totally private communication. But you know, for a softball team, they probably don't care if other people find out, like with practices or something like that. So is that sort of the communication model that you're going for, where it's sort of like it's sort of protected but not private, or?
I think that you could make it's not private. For the teachers, they would probably want to put something in there that made it sort of anonymous. And I know teachers have things like this that they do. So there are ways you could sort of make it private.
But if I did U.S. history, there must be several teachers who are teaching U.S. history.
Yep.
Yeah.
You'd have to call it my secret U.S.
Gotcha.
history that nobody should know.
Gotcha.
Is there a way to find out what tags are already used? I mean, if there's a history class already out there, can I find out so I'm not overlapping it? Is it going to tell me, hey, this one's already taken, try something else?
It'll tell you. Yep. It is first come, first serve, and I have A2NewTech, so you can
All
buy
right.
it from me for $5
Yeah.
if you want.
There's your business. Yeah.
See, you do know how to make money.
Yeah. So no, it'll tell you if it's taken. So it's not. Yeah.
Any other questions? All right, well, thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, I know that there are some community announcements, people chopping at the bit, so please, while our next presenter's getting set up, you want to make a quick community announcement?
Okay, so
Yeah.
a minute or two? Is it
Like 30 seconds.
30 seconds?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm Robert Dick. I teach computer engineering here at the University of Michigan. And I like the internet because it's opened up the ability of people to access information and also to speak freely. But there are problems with the internet. Most of the information goes through a few Tier 1 gateway routers, which means that it's very easy to shut it down, to censor it, or to use it as a tool to spy on numerous innocent people. And that's happening now. Happened in Arab Spring for shutting down, happens in Iran and China and other places for censorship and for surveillance. It's happening around the world. I want a world in which friends and family members can communicate with each other freely, knowing that only the people they want to get the messages, and I want the communication to go on even if someone pulls the plug on the internet. So I've worked on this in my lab for the past few years, and we've developed a technology that lets smartphones communicate directly with each other without any reliance on infrastructure. And we have a prototype we've deployed. We've tested it. We can get messages to most participants with an adoption rate of only 0.2% of the student population here at the University of Michigan. If you're interested in these goals or just have advice for us, I'm looking for advice and help. Thanks.
Cool. Well,
it's in transition. It was called Shout, but that was taken down because of a trademark conflict with some TV station in the middle of the country. It's going to be 1 a.m. and up again on Google Play soon. But we really are at the point where we need to discover our customers, because even if this is going to be a nonprofit, some people have to value it enough. And so we're looking for people who actually care about this and what their needs are, so we can make sure that when we turn this from a research technology into a product, we're solving the right problems for our customers.
So if you have a URL or some sort of like online handle, if you could comment on the A2NewTech meetup page, then everyone will have access to that page where they can go to find out more information, your content.
Sure, I'll do it. We 1 a.m., the number 1 a.m. -networks.org or .com.
Okay, cool. Thank you. I think we're going to try to interleave the presentations with more community announcements. One of the great things about A2NewTech is meeting so many new people, but it's the rare opportunity I have to introduce someone who I actually know. Please welcome Scott Goci, maybe best known for hosting Ann Arbor Startup Drinks, among other things here in our community.
Thanks, Zach. I'm Scott, and this is TrueJob. I kind of want to take a quick look back for a second, because this is a special day for me. It's about a 4-year anniversary. About 4 years ago, I presented a startup called Scoopal. And I had no programming experience, so it was a one-page PHP app that ran terribly. But I really wanted a job website that was better than everything else out there. And I tried to make it work with Scoopal, and it didn't end up working out. I tried to get technical help, but couldn't find anyone. So graduated with a degree in psychology, and I actually spent the next 4 years building up programming experience so I could build what I'm about to show you today. I'm hoping you guys like it. So let's talk about what is TrueJob. I could go through a bunch of slides, but I think it's much better if you see the demo and kind of see for yourself why this job website kind of blows everything away. So in a nutshell, the idea behind TrueJob is that it's Pandora for jobs. You sign up with your email, you fill in your profile, and it gives you a base set of recommended jobs using machine learning algorithms. And then you can upvote or downvote different things about it in order to kind of get better recommendations. So here we have our user sign-up page. If you want to fill it out yourself, you can feel free to fill it out, but we can actually just authenticate with LinkedIn. You click it, and it fills in everything that it can from LinkedIn and kind of gives you a notification of what information is filled in from it. After you get that, you get your kind of base set of recommendations. And you can see right here that we have about 100 jobs here ranked by the rating that I've given them. But we can go even more fine than that. So let's say I really wanted to favorite the company named Fattahi. I can do that. Let's say I wanted to favorite Detroit, or maybe just a city around the Detroit area, in order to say, I only want to see jobs from Sterling Heights. Maybe you're sick of the keyword ninja, developer ninja, or some other times, and you never want to see that keyword again. You can hover over it, and you can block it. But it goes deeper than that. I can even just highlight words, and any of these can become keywords in order to favorite and block against job postings on TrueJob. So what am I doing with these keywords? That's a good question. Well, employers right now don't know why their job posting sucks. And they can get inklings of it through view counts and things along those lines, but if it gets 1 view, if it gets 1,000 views, they don't know if they're targeting the right people. But if you have keywords that you can actually show the employer, we can actually show in our admin dashboard how many times has your job posting been viewed, for how long. What about the keywords? You can see I've favorited the design keyword for this job, and I've favorited the software keyword for this job. Let's try a new one. Let's try helmets. I don't know why we'd want that, but oh well. We can favorite that, and if we refresh the page, it's not there. You're gonna have to take my word for it that it works. So employers get very valuable statistics, but it doesn't really stop there as well. Because once you apply for a job, employers can do the same thing to your resume that you can do for employers. They can favorite or block certain attributes in your resume, and your resume looks beautiful. They can choose any of these keywords and say, well, I really don't like Scott, he's a Rails developer, I'm really looking for a Python developer, and block the keyword Rails. And the benefit of that, for both sides, is that as a job seeker, just how as the employer gets statistics, I get to see who's viewed my resume, for how long, and what keywords that employer has blocked and favorited in my resume. All right. Maybe you're still not convinced, and you say, well, I might use your site, but your job postings aren't really there. We have an answer for that, too. It fills out your profile beautifully, but maybe you just want a paper copy. You can click Resume, and you can get a resume style immediately that you can then print to PDF. Don't like that resume style? Click a different one, click Print View PDF, and you have it. Take it to your job. There's a lot more that I haven't been able to show you guys, but I don't have much time left. But needless to say, this has been a labor of love, and I want job websites to be a lot better than they are now. I think this is it.
Questions for Scott?
What's with the tie?
I actually had to buy one because I didn't have one, but I felt like I
That's a great story.
What makes you think this is it?
If you look at current job websites out there, they've done the same thing in 20 years. Sorry for swearing. They ask you for your job title and your location. Now tell me, what's your job title?
I make it up on the spirit of the moment.
Most people do.
Yep.
But when they search for jobs, they don't know what job title to search for. Are they a web developer? Are they a web ninja? Maybe there's some keywords that a job website will offer you, but it doesn't give you the flexibility that these has. And what about location? Would you work in Idaho? Maybe not. Would you work in it if you're offered $1 million a year? Probably. So where you work and what job title you have depend on a bunch of different factors. But yet, they're stuck in the past. This is like search engines before
Help me
Google.
understand what you mean they're stuck in the past. What aren't they applying that you're applying?
Have you ever seen a job website that says, find jobs within 25 miles of this location? What if the job is in 26 miles away? You'll never see it. That's what they do today. This takes in everything into account. Where you are, what cities you like, what tags you like, and then if you don't like a certain city or location, it's not so strict that it prevents you from seeing something that you might not. Your perfect job, your true job, might be hidden behind like a location barrier or a keyword that you're not searching for. And right now, they are only asking you to search for keywords and location. And that's not enough to find the jobs that might fit you. This does. Yeah.
Where's your content from job postings coming from?
Well, right now I'm scraping them mostly from other job websites, so they probably don't like that, but they haven't shut me down yet, so we'll see. The idea basically is you wanted to have it's a two-sided market. You need to get employers on board, you need to get job seekers on board. If we can get the jobs onto our website just by scraping and people apply to it, we can then go to the employers that we don't have on our site yet and say, listen, I've got 10 qualified applicants for you, and not only that, but I know why your job posting isn't hitting the kind of candidates you could hit, because we've got the analytics that tell you that. Your site doesn't. Sign up, pay us X amount of dollars a month, and you can see them yourself. Yeah.
How does the, it seems like you're doing tag-based
searches and matching, how does it weigh the tags as far as your example of the distance?
You want it?
I want 25 miles away, but I also want something with a yoga, program in it. How does it weigh which one's more important?
You want to know my secret sauce as to how I rank and relevancy rank job postings?
I was curious to see how does it prevent me from going over 25 miles, or does it go over the 25 miles but it's looking for an additional tag? I mean, what's to prevent me from looking for a job here and then with California results because the tags were weighted incorrectly?
Well, there is the secret sauce behind the weighting, so like I can't really go too much into that. We'll have other things that you can manually control. So if you're starting to see jobs that you don't think you should, you can either start over, you can start fresh, things like that. So hope that answers it as best as it can. Sure.
So you're talking about companies being stuck in the past. Why, being a modern job seeker, I have my own website, I made them for other people. Why would I want PDF? Why not take that information and throw it up onto a Bootstrap website somewhere and get their own URL? Isn't that a little bit more forward thinking?
Well, the idea basically is in the end, you're correct. But it's kind of like business cards. There's been plenty of startups that have kind of worked off the idea that they're trying to replace the business card. Do we still have business cards? Yes, we do. Because there's still a lot of people, a lot of jobs that aren't online or not there. And I want to help those people too. I want to help job seekers that are applying to whatever job, whether it's on my website or somewhere else. Would it be better to have an online resume and you just kind of go to it? That's probably forward thinking, yes. But if there's a job that we're losing out on because they only accept paper resumes, I'd much rather that they have it available to them than not have it at all. Yeah.
So when you first said it's Pandora for jobs, I was intrigued, but this doesn't look much like Pandora for jobs for me, because Pandora I get in and starts playing music. I need one data entry point, which is an artist or a song, and I start getting things. I wonder if, is there a super low data entry way to start getting resumes and then optimize as I go?
Well, so the idea basically is when you set up your profile, it pulls in skills if you authenticate with LinkedIn, and from those skills, that seeds your initial kind of recommendations. So all you need to do is fill out your profile or sign up through LinkedIn, and it gives you jobs. It's the same kind of example. Like when you start Pandora, you type in an artist still in order to kind of get to where the station wants you to go. So with this, you fill out your profile, and it starts giving you jobs, and then just like Pandora, you thumbs up, you thumbs down it, and then you get different songs or jobs, in this case, that relate to it.
And is this my Pandora interface right here?
This is your Pandora interface. Songs you kind of listen to for 3.5 minutes. I wouldn't want to just show one job recommendation, and then you had to listen to music for 3.5 minutes as you switched between it. So, yes.
So my very forward-looking company has a very backward-looking recruiting department. Is this cheaper than LinkedIn because that's the only metric they really know, or is it so much better that they'll forget about their primary buying choice, which is price?
If you're going to focus on price, and I'm not saying this is an expensive product, but if you're going to focus on price, you're focusing on the wrong things. If you're going to drive down to the bottom of the barrel in terms of pricing, but then you're getting back results that aren't helping you, what have you actually achieved? Nothing.
Job security.
Maybe job security. To be frank, I'm not really a fan of LinkedIn and recruiters in general, just because the only messages I get now on LinkedIn, the only reason I go to LinkedIn is to update my online resume, if you will. I want to get rid of recruiters, and I want to show that there's another job website out there besides LinkedIn that can be fucking good.
Thanks, Scott.
Hopefully the FCC does not start coming after us for A2NewTech presentations. While our center is getting set up, another community announcement?
Yeah. Hi everybody. All right, so I just have a quick announcement. My name is Sydney Bigelow. I'm a CS student at the University of Michigan, and this year I'm the director of the Startup Career Fair that will be happening in January. So we've run this for 7 years. It's a career fair that is aimed solely at startup companies and small businesses. So there's a ton of students at the University of Michigan that are really excited about the entrepreneurial ecosystem here, about startups, about startup culture, and we want to showcase that. So typically the fair is attended by about 100 companies from all over the US, and between 1,500 and 2,000 students. So if anyone here is looking for engineers, for business students, for anyone, the fair will be held in January. If you're old school, I have flyers, or I'll put the website up on the New Tech homepage. It's startumup.com, or I have business cards if you want to shoot me an email. I'd love to talk more and tell you more about it. So thanks.
What's it cost?
It is $200 for a table.
I have to say though, we've recently at OLARP re-engaged with the University of Michigan for recruiting interns, and we were blown away by the quality of candidates. It's not just people that know like C++ and Java. If you haven't done recruiting at the University of Michigan for a while, you should re-engage and check it out because it's advanced quite a bit in the past couple of years. And I think there was one other community house, maybe way in the back.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm Patrick. I'm the organizer of the Ruby group here in town. A week from tonight, we're going to be having a social meetup at the Arbor Brewing Company. If you're interested in Ruby, you're welcome to come, and you can find information on the group on Meetup. Thanks.
We will have some time for some more community announcements, but I do want to hand it back to our presenter, Stefan.
Hello everybody, my name is Stefan Leon, and I'm the co-founder of a business called SoFitU. When I look at my phone today, there's a lot of applications that I frequent. Instagram, Snapchat is my personal favorite right now. Facebook, Twitter, social media applications that engage me with a community of people that I consider friends and other people who I've met through this online community. But in most of these things that I'm frequenting almost every day, I'm not really making real connections with people as one would think that they should be doing with these applications. SoFitU has a mission, and it's to facilitate real in-person connections between people by bringing people together for fitness and for sports using mobile technology. In this world, the timeless saying of "it's not what you know, it's who you know" is incredibly right. And we think that this is true for SoFitU because you can know how to play a sport, you can know how to get engaged at the gym, you can know how to run a marathon, but if you don't know other people to train with you, to play with you, to get active with you, to have someone at the gym, to have someone to play racquetball with, to have someone to play twos for tennis, to organize a sports or fitness meetup, that process is incredibly difficult to happen. So it doesn't matter that you know how to engage in these activities if you don't have these people. So what SoFitU does is creates a platform for people, right now university students, to find other people in their network or to meet other people in their network for fitness and for sports so that they can meet up in person for the activities and interests that interest them. And we do that by aligning availabilities, your fitness goals, and your fitness interests. So it's something very simple and conversations that happen all across the world in a classroom, in different community settings. But these conversations take a long time to happen, and what SoFitU does is it facilitates these conversations to save people time when they're trying to get engaged for a fitness activity. So if I were to ask somebody what a fitness activity they were interested in to see if one of ours aligned, for instance, it'd be something for the gym, there's a lengthy conversation about what it would take for us to be compatible fitness partners of the sort. On SoFitU, you're able to post for very specific activities and specific times, eventually getting to the point where we're making recommendations to people about who can be good matches and what would be good times learning about you for other people to engage with you. So this platform is essentially solving this gap that we have of information between people in communicating what our fitness interests and goals are, and then what our availability is so that we can actually facilitate real in-person meetups. Right now, it looks a little something like this. It's an iOS application that essentially allows you to post to an entire network. Right now for a university, we keep it close to a college campus, a place that's proven for organic growth. And we allow people to post for exactly what it is that they're trying to engage in, and then let them chat and be able to coordinate amongst themselves and meet new people who would be interested, with the future goal of being able to recommend people, provide a real customized experience with smart notifications, interactive maps, and the ability for people to really make this process that currently takes up to an hour to 5 hours and make it under a minute. So what I would like to now tell you is a little bit about me, a little bit about my team. So my name is Stefan. I came from Florida State with 3 other Seminoles this year. We just graduated, 3 of us from an entrepreneurship program and another one from the computer science department. And since then we've raised about $20,000, and we took our butts over here to Michigan where it's going to be super cold and we're going to freeze them off. But we got into the DTX incubator in Detroit, and we were working out of there for some time, and now we are looking for additional talent. So if anybody is a programmer that is interested in this idea or this field, or also a designer, we would very much like to have a conversation. I'd like to thank you guys for your time, and open to any questions.
How many downloads do you have so far?
So we launched the app last month with a version that we haven't really been pushing, and we just pushed out an update this week and waiting on Apple. But since the first update, 24 active downloads.
All right, so I found out about this event through Meetup. Tell me how this is better. In what ways does this go beyond what I'm able to get through sites like that?
Well, I think it's really cool that I get to speak in front of this crowd, specifically because we did all come together for an interest, which was new technology, or technology in Ann Arbor. And our platform is specific for sports and for fitness. So that's where we bring in value to the user and have a user experience that's tailored to the individual that's looking for either a sports partner, group, or team, or a specific fitness partner or a group as well. And then we bring on additional value by tailoring every sport, every activity to the needs of the user, essentially. Yes, sir.
Have you heard of a app called Networking Out that's also out of Detroit?
Yes.
Okay, how are you similar or different from those guys?
So Networking Out, what they would tell you that they do is they're almost creating like a LinkedIn that has this social component where they center it around fitness, so that people who are young professionals and are in that atmosphere are able to connect for whatever their sports interests are or fitness interests, and they have Run This Town, where it's a large organized meetup of people that want to go running. And the way we're different, number one, is because we started universities, and we keep it close to a university network, so only a university student could use their network. And then furthermore, we open it up to all ranges of activities. So it may be easy to find it's easier to find a running partner than it is to find somebody maybe to play squash with in your network, or something even more obscure such as archery or badminton. And those are the kinds of connections that we facilitate, on top of having a model that we believe is a little more scalable.
The obscure one like the badminton, you're saying?
Correct.
Because what, you go outside of your personal network as well and go to locality, or maybe I don't understand that part. What makes it facilitate those rare ones more? If I don't know someone who plays badminton.
So first it's just at your school, so that locality is constrained to a school network.
Okay.
And then we have a list of all these activities that you can participate for. Yes, sir.
How and why do you control the network, like you say, to a small? How are you doing?
Sure. So right now you need a .edu to register. We do this primarily it was for security. We wanted people to feel safe when they're on the network, so that people outside couldn't be onto it.
In order to sign up, right now I leave the university and I go back home to Wisconsin. The .edu is still working. So how are you limiting your network?
You have to do a yearly check in order to be able to continue to use it. So we would prevent graduating users from using it, but that's our model right now, but we're looking to scale that up from past universities to an employee wellness space, to sports and rehabilitation programs, and then furthermore to entire cities.
And so why are you doing that? Why are you trying to limit the network?
This is for the introduction of our product, because it's something that we can control, and this is where we're going to get our best testing done, and this is where we're going to get the feedback that we need to incorporate into the product that we see as being the truer version of SoFitU, which, with a little more talent, we would like to put into production. Yes, sir.
In terms of the networking apps I've seen, it seems like you're doing a lot of the same stuff. Tell me how you guys are eliminating friction and getting me off my ass and being active.
So what we're really hoping to do is learn about you as a user. So for the university user, in between classes, you usually have a set schedule, something that changes every semester, which is where we think we bring a lot of utility to people who might have a good fitness partner for one semester but not for the next. But essentially, during these time periods, we want to give you the opportunities, put them in your face of what's going on and something that you might be interested, allowing for following of certain people or sports so that you can get smart notifications that are catered to you that aren't coming on during class, maybe coming on right after of the notification of a sports game that you wanted to be a part of, maybe something that you've done in the past. So learning a bit about the user so that we can recommend things that could get you engaged. And so expanding those opportunities is how we get you off your butt. Hopefully, so you don't be as lazy as your friends who are playing video games, you can go on SoFitU and find other friends that are doing something active.
Video games are becoming
Awesome.
a sport.
Thank you so much. And again, there will be time after the event if you have further questions to ask the speaker. Okay. Were there other community announcements that I missed? Yes, please.
My name is Michael Camp. I work for Fattahi. I'm one of those recruiters that Scott's trying to get rid of. I have some jobs that I'm working on right now in the Ann Arbor and Detroit area, mainly Java and .NET development. So you can come and up or down vote those jobs in real time. Just come up and see me afterwards.
My name is Graham Evans, and I'm working with an organization called Ann Arbor Soup, which is a community crowdfunding organization. Came out of Detroit. And once every quarter, about 100 to 200 people get together in a room, and for less than $10, they get free dinner and the ability to vote on an organization that's presented that night to fund that organization. Generally, it's grants in the range of $1,000 to $1,500 going to organizations. Organizations tend to be social entrepreneurship, community organizations, small nonprofits, people who are just getting started out. So we're currently accepting applications. If you go to annarborsoup.org, you can apply to be a presenting organization. And the next event is going to be January 11th. I'll probably mention it again, but January 11th, come on out, get some free dinner, and support cool local organizations in Ann Arbor.
Awesome. Other community announcements, upcoming events, job openings? Yeah, Wes.
I've got need for 2 C++ coders. Yes, I'm going old school. So two separate startups of ours have got a need for a C++ coder embedded and one with a machine learning component. If you have an interest, let me know.
I have an announcement myself, if there's any others. A2NewTech will not be meeting in December. Usually every third Tuesday you can find us here, but so close to the holidays. Please go visit your families, kiss your significant other, say hello to your children, tell your mother you love her, that sort of thing. We will not be here the third Tuesday of December. But we'll pick back up in January for my 4th season of A2NewTech, and I think maybe the 6th or 7th season of A2NewTech since 2009 in Vegas. Okay, and so then last but not least, to close us off for the night is Core Innovations.
Hi everyone, my name is Saaed Fattahi. I'm CTO for Core Innovations, and with me I also have our CEO, Mayor Joe Cartwright. So who are we? We're a startup that came out of the University of Michigan Office of Technology Transfer, started by a U of M law professor, Professor Prescott, and one of his former students. We've been funded initially by the U of M Third Century Project, which is the goal of the project is to develop creative approaches to solve some of the bigger problems around the world, or challenges. So far, we've developed a pilot software that we've rolled out in 2 courts, and I'll talk about that more in a little bit. So what do we do? Basically, what we're trying to do is bring a lot of minor infractions, high volume cases that clog up the courts online and allow the citizens to negotiate with the courts for minor infractions. Now, we're not talking about criminal cases. These are decisions that judges make in less than a minute typically. But to get to that point takes up a lot of everybody's time. For defendants, handling these cases online is a heck of a lot more convenient. It's the courts in general are pretty intimidating to the average citizen, and if you have to get an attorney, it's costly, it's time-consuming. So in a way, we're kind of leveling the playing field for the average citizen to be able to do this online. For the courts, there's a huge efficiency gain because a lot of these high-volume mundane cases really take up a lot of the docket. As an example, traffic cases, typically the courts set aside half a day or a day for handling people that want to contest their tickets. A lot of times people mostly want to not get points. They're fine. They will pay the fine, but they don't want to get points. They have circumstances that they want to explain to the court. They weren't able to explain it to the police officer. So in order to do that, you have to take time off from your work. You have to go to the court on that specific day, probably hang around for several hours. And on the other hand, the police officer has to show up in court, so that police officer has to be taken off the beat. A lot of times they get paid overtime to show up to court. And then, typically the judge looks at the case, listens to what the police officer has to say, and makes a decision, in less than a minute or so. And the decisions that they make a lot of times are, they have a stack of these cases to go through during that time period. They don't have time to look at details of, your past or the circumstances of the case. They mainly listen to the police officers, and that's how they make their decision. What we're doing by bringing it online, we're allowing them to look at your history and make a better informed decision. So at a high level, basically there's a website that defendants go to. They can look up their ticket and make a request. On the court side, there's a web-based workflow system that has dashboards for the clerk, for the prosecutors, and for the judges. There are no automated decisions. The court staff have complete discretion as to basically how they handle these cases. We allow them to pull up 5 years of history for each defendant across the state of Michigan. We have 2 pilots in Washtenaw. If you're unlucky enough to get a ticket in Washtenaw, most likely you'll be dealing with our system. We just expanded it to a few more courts. And in Bay County, we're doing traffic cases. In addition, we're also handling some warrants, failure to pay and failure to appear.
Wrap it up, I guess, yeah.
Okay, so we have pilots going right now, but we're building the scalable platform to go through the rest of the courts in Michigan and also nationally. We're looking at other states that have different sort of systems set up. Michigan is very distributed. Each court makes their own decisions on technology and everything. Other states are more centralized. We're looking at other types of cases that can be brought online, similar to traffic and warrants. And we're also figuring out our revenue model, which is most likely a subscription type of model. We're looking for Java developers, UI and UX people, product manager, and salespeople, sales director.
All right, great, thank you.
I have a whole presentation with slides of the actual application, but obviously there was no time.
Yeah, there's nothing greater than bringing efficiency.
But I'll be happy to show it to anyone who's interested.
Yeah, but questions from the audience? There's a number of them. Yeah, I don't know if you want to switch off or if you want to.
Let's start from the back and forward. Go ahead.
Is a police officer going to be a part of the process when you do this?
Yes. So, like I said, on the court side of this application, there's clerks, police officers, or prosecutors. Depending on the court, the role is played by a prosecutor or a police officer, and judges. So they all have logins. They log in. They have a dashboard of cases that's waiting for them. For police officers, basically they make a recommendation to the judge whether this person's ticket or offense should be reduced or not. And then the judge can also log in. The judge can look at the history of the defendant, the recommendation of the police, and again, accept or reject it. Once they do, then the defendant gets notified.
So run me through a typical thing. I find out that I get a ticket, and I find out that maybe I can apply to do this online.
Right. So actually in Washington County right now, if you get a ticket, on the ticket itself, there is the URL that tells you can go online and see if you're eligible for negotiation. And the police officers have also been instructed to convey that message to people who get the ticket. So you get your ticket, you go to the website, you put in your driver's license, your date of birth, and the date of the ticket, and we tell you whether you're eligible or not. Right now, there are certain types of offenses that they're willing to handle online. Other types, we tell you you're not eligible, you're still responsible.
So I log in, and they say you're eligible. There's a police officer at that time.
No, you simply make a request. At that time, when you're eligible, you make a request for reduction.
Right.
In Washington County, the only reduction they do through the system right now is impeding traffic, basically. In Bay County, there are actually several choices that the prosecutor can offer. But you as a defendant, as a litigant, you simply request negotiation or for your case to be reviewed.
It's asynchronous. It's 24/7. Yep.
Right. Yeah, it's not like an online chat or anything like that.
Right. So I would apply. Police officer, maybe the next day would put in his 2 cents worth.
Right.
Then after that, the judge, maybe a day or two later, would put in his 2 cents worth.
Right.
And then they would say, this is what we can offer you, or what?
Correct. And you as a defendant also have the option of accepting or declining. So you can still go to court if you, but I think they tell you that this is the best option you have. So actually, I think in Washington County, they've stopped doing in-person mediations. It's all online now.
Awesome. That's really cool.
Okay.
Yeah. How do you prevent or how do you ensure security or prevent somebody from coming back later and say, I didn't do the negotiation online?
It's a very good point. Right now, the security is not that high. So someone, if you know somebody's driver's license, date of birth, and date of the ticket, you could come in and pretend to be them. But I think the chances of that going very far is low right now. But that's one of the security or authentication of the user is something we're looking at.
Yeah, because as you expand throughout the country,
Correct.
it becomes more of an issue.
Right. Yes.
You said the court didn't have an interest in automating their response. It seems that there's a relatively few data points from prior history and from what the offense is.
I mean, yes, you could argue that it could be automated, or at least with more AI, more algorithms, more algorithmically automated. But so far, no. And I think it gives people a lot of unease to find out this, these guys. I mean, the judges are there to basically decide at their discretion how to handle cases. I think to automate it gives the judges a lot of uneasiness, and I think probably to individuals as well.
It's good enough for the NASDAQ. I don't know.
So one of the things we're doing though on the research side, since Professor Prescott is a researcher, is we're trying to collect data across the state, and when they look at a particular person, do a statistical analysis and actually provide a lot more information on how likely is this person to be a repeat offender. Right now, a lot of that decision is just seat of the pants. 2 offenses in the past, and you're not eligible.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Sure. We'll be around if you have questions that I didn't get to answer.
Yes, precisely. So this concludes our formal A2NewTech program. If you have questions, please stick around. Occasionally there's an after party where people go to pizza house afterwards. If someone's feeling like that, please announce it. Otherwise, I'll see you guys in 15.
What's the word on the after party?
Very frequently people go to pizza house. I have another obligation. If you'd like to go, sit up on the table and announce it.